I wake up every morning fired up because I'm like, another day that something atrocious didn't happen to the 9 people that I love the most. I mean it. Guys, perspective is the game. Like, realizing what we're talking about and then realizing the reason you shouldn't value everybody's opinions is because they don't actually give a fuck about your life. They're worried about their own. Like, get off your fucking high horse. Nobody gives a fuck about what's going on with you.
Yeah. No.
Like, that's a good way to think about it. So cool, dude. So you've won life. I'm pumped. Like, you did it. Like I have friends who make $42,000 a year, work 9 to 4, kind of, with an hour and a half lunch and 45 minutes of YouTube and 10 minutes of bullshitting and an hour of complete waste of time in a meeting. So they're kind of working like 6, hours a week, right? But they're pumped. And they text me, these are high school friends, and they'll text me like how happy they are to be the coach of their kids' baseball team. And like, that's amazing. Like, that seems very obvious to me. Like, that's right. Like, what's super weird? I'm actually weirdly envious. It sounds cool, like, in theory, right? Grass is always greener, right? Like, far less pressure, like all that time with my kids, oof, that would be cool. Like, there's just like all these things that I can justify. So to me, but I have friends who have $100 million in the bank because of Facebook's IPO, who complain, who are still hungry, who want to do even more, who will complain to me because they know I work a lot about no work-life balance and they don't get to spend enough time with their family. And I'm like, you have $100 million. Like, you could stay home. Like, you're in control. Like, you don't complain about it. You've made that choice. Don't bullshit me. Like, you want to spend more time with your family? Spend more time with your family. This is back to what we said about keyboard warriors. I'm trying to be very careful about what I'm saying versus what I'm doing, because that's how you get exposed. And I don't mean like people calling you out and being like, you suck. I mean to yourself. I don't want to be exposed by myself. It's looking yourself in the mirror and saying like, am I doing this right? So to me, there's so many people that are talking shit about how big of an entrepreneur they're gonna be and how much they're gonna achieve, and they don't work on weekends. I worked every Saturday of my 20s. Like, and I talk to 20-year-old entrepreneurs every single day. Lately, I've been saying to them, this Saturday, you're gonna have more time off than I've had in my entire 20s on a Saturday. So like, before you tell me how you're gonna be bigger than me, start thinking about what you're actually doing.
Right. Yeah, no, I've heard you say that once, and it really caught the person off guard because they were like all about what they were doing, and it's like, oh yeah. How do you plan to instill that in your kids, or do you? I guess if you don't.
I don't. I plan to instill kindness into my kids. I plan on instilling perspective into my kids. I plan in instilling just being a good human being. I plan on making sure they don't use their parents' wealth and micro fame and leverage to impose on any other person. I'm petrified of that. If my kids try to punk their friends on my shit, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of them. Like, that's just loser DNA.